If you're a mortgage broker or a financial advisor and you want to get more leads from your own website, then there are three things that you need to do. First off, you need to identify who your ideal kind of client is. Then once you've done that, the second thing is to attract more of those types of ideal clients to your website. And then the third thing you need to do is to convert those website visitors into leads. My name's David Miles from the PPC Machine, and that three-part framework of identify, attract and convert is the same system that I use with my done-for-you clients and with the members of the Predictable Pipeline program, which is my group coaching program for mortgage brokers and financial advisors who want to learn how to do their own marketing and lead generation. If you'd like to learn how the system works, then keep watching, because this is the second in a three-part series of videos where I'm taking you through every step in that identify, attract and convert framework and explaining what you need to do to implement that into your own business. If you haven't already seen part one, the identify bit, I suggest you go and watch that first of all, and I'll put a link to that in the description. But otherwise, stay tuned for part two, where I'll be showing you now how to attract people to your website. So as I said previously, whenever I'm working with mortgage brokers or financial advisors to help them get more leads from their own websites, whether I'm doing that one-to-one or through my group coaching program, the framework that I follow with them is a three-step one. And those three steps are identifying your ideal client, which I talked about in a previous video, attracting that ideal kind of client to your website, and then converting them from being a visitor into being a warm lead. And in this video today, we're going to be talking about the second step in that framework, which is the attract one. So how do we attract people to your website? And broadly speaking, there are two different types of methods that we can use to get people to our site. And that is organic traffic to a website or paid traffic. So what's the difference between these two types of traffic? Well, the main difference is that organic traffic is free traffic to your website, and paid traffic obviously isn't free. The other key difference is that organic traffic takes longer to build up. It takes longer to get organic traffic to your website. So although you're not investing money in it, you do have to invest time and effort to get that traffic coming through. Whereas paid traffic, you can reach a much bigger audience much more quickly, but you do have to put some advertising money behind it. So let's look first of all at the main types of organic traffic that you can use to get your ideal kind of client coming to your website. The first and probably the longest established and best known is SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. So this is where you're doing stuff to your website to try and ensure that when someone goes onto Google and searches for the kind of search term they might use when they're looking for a mortgage broker or financial advisor, that Google decides that your website is one of the ones it's going to list on that first page. The other big type of organic traffic comes from social media, where you're putting content out on the social platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and you're hoping that when people see that and read that, they're going to be interested enough in what you've got to say that they will click through to your website to find out more about you and ultimately make some kind of inquiry, contact you about getting advice and services and whatever. And linked in with both these things, with SEO and with social media, we have what's called content marketing. So content marketing is just a fancy term for creating useful content, which is providing value and information to people that they're going to find useful, so as they come to like and trust your business and want to deal with you. And content marketing plays a role in both SEO and social media, because a big part of SEO is about having up-to-date, fresh, relevant content on your website. Google likes that kind of thing. So if you've got a good content marketing strategy, that will naturally help your SEO side of things. And the other thing is that having lots of content means you've got good things to put out there on social media. So these three things, SEO, social media and content marketing, generally go hand in hand, and they all help each other, and they're all part of an organic traffic strategy. And as I said before, the nice thing about organic is it doesn't cost you anything each time someone visits your site, but obviously creating all that content, building up a presence on social media, doing all that SEO work does require an investment of time and effort. And so that's why a lot of people turn to paid traffic methods, because it is a way to get traffic to your website much, much quicker and in bigger volumes than you can if you rely purely on organic. And the three main paid channels that mortgage brokers and financial advisors that I work with are using are Google Ads, Facebook Ads and LinkedIn Ads. So what is Google Ads? Let's start with that one. Google Ads is a form of advertising called pay-per-click advertising. So you, as an advertiser, say to Google, if someone types in one of these things into Google, if they're searching for someone like mortgage broker, financial advisor, whatever your chosen search terms are, I have an advert here that I'd like Google to show, but you only pay for that advert if someone actually clicks on the ad and goes through to your website. And if you want to know more about Google Ads, by the way, I've done a whole separate video all about how Google Ads works in the financial services industry, how to set it up. So I'll put a link to that in the description below, so you can click through and look at that if you want to know more about the ins and outs of how Google works and the kind of results that it can give for mortgage brokers and financial advisors. But the important thing to highlight here about Google Ads is that of the three paid strategies I've mentioned here, Google Ads, Facebook Ads and LinkedIn Ads, Google Ads is the one which will bring you traffic with what we call the highest intent. In other words, people who are most likely to be ready to use your services right now. And that's because Google Ads are attracting to your site people who've actually gone to Google and typed something in that indicates they need a mortgage broker or financial advisor. They've gone in and typed in mortgage broker in Leeds, or pension advisor near me, or retirement planning advice, or bad credit mortgages, or whatever it is that indicates they need help from a mortgage broker or financial advisor. So if they've taken the trouble to actually go and proactively search, there's a much, much higher chance that they're actually going to want to speak to someone like you right now. So although Google Ads traffic is among the more expensive forms of traffic on the paid side that you can send to your site, it also tends to have the highest conversion rate and the shortest conversion time, the shortest time between someone arriving on your site and making an inquiry, because of that high level of intent that people generally have. So then we come on to Facebook ads, which I know are really, really popular among a lot of mortgage brokers. And one of the reasons that they're popular is they have a much lower cost. So each visitor that comes to your site via Facebook ads is likely to cost you a lot less than each visitor who comes to your site via Google Ads. Now with Facebook ads, the way that you make your payment is actually per impression. So your ads on Facebook appear in people's Facebook news feeds, timelines, whatever, and you're paying every time an ad appears in someone's feed, regardless of whether or not they actually click on it or interact with it in any other kind of way. It is still a fairly targeted form of advertising, so it's not quite the same as Google, where you're only showing your ads to people who are actively looking for the kind of products or services you sell, but you can target your ads around the type of interest that people have. So you could, for example, show your ads just to people who have shown an interest in pensions, or an interest in mortgages, or an interest in property or whatever. But that's still not quite as targeted as only showing your ads to people who are actively looking. And so Facebook ads do tend to have what we call a lower level of intent than Google ads. And what this really means, is no one goes on Facebook to look for a mortgage advisor, or to look for an IFA, or to look for financial advice. They're on there for other things. And so when your advert appears, even if you've got it well targeted to people who have an interest in what you're selling, you're targeting them at a time when they don't have their financial services purchasing hat on. They didn't go to Facebook to look for that. So whatever your advert says and however well targeted it is, it's always going to be an interruption to what they actually went onto Facebook to do. And so if they do engage with your ad, if they do click on it and come through to your website, they like to have a lower level of intent than someone who clicked on a Google ad and come through to your website. And then finally, we've got LinkedIn ads, which work in a very similar way to Facebook ads. They are, however, more expensive generally than Facebook ads. It costs more to advertise on LinkedIn than it does on Facebook, although some people argue that's because the quality of the traffic is better and you get what you pay for. The big difference with LinkedIn is you can target people by profession, by what kind of job they've got, or by what company they work for, what size company they work for, that kind of stuff. So if you're a mortgage broker or financial advisor who has niched based on the kind of job or profession that people have got, then sometimes it's a lot easier to find those people and target them on LinkedIn than it is on Facebook, because basically on LinkedIn, everyone tells LinkedIn what they do for a living. So LinkedIn has a really good, reliable data set as to what all of its members do for a living, whereas people don't tend to tell Facebook what they do for a living. Some people do, obviously, but because Facebook isn't primarily a business platform, that's not the number one thing that everyone puts in their profile. So Facebook has less of an idea what people do for a living, what kind of job they've got, than LinkedIn does. So if you're looking to target by profession, LinkedIn can often be a better bet for that than Facebook ads. But again, you've got the same issue on LinkedIn as you have with Facebook around the low level of intent, because again, no one goes onto LinkedIn specifically to look to buy any products or services, whether it's financial services or anything else. So your advert is always going to be interrupting them in the middle of whatever it was they actually went to LinkedIn to do on that occasion. And it's because of this low intent factor that a lot of people, or most people who use Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads, don't do very well out of it in terms of generating high quality leads for their businesses. And that's because they're making a fundamental mistake. A lot of mortgage brokers or financial advisors who advertise on Facebook or LinkedIn are expecting someone to go from seeing an ad on that social media platform and going straight from that to being ready to book an appointment with them to discuss their mortgage or their investments or their protection or whatever. And because of the low intent, that's too big a leap to expect people to make all in one go. So it is possible to generate leads from Facebook and from LinkedIn, but you've got to take people on a slower, longer journey from seeing your ad to getting in contact with you. But if you're aware of that, you can make Facebook and LinkedIn ads work as long as you add in an extra ingredient into the process. And that extra ingredient is called a lead magnet. So what are lead magnets? Well, a lead magnet can take many forms, but a really common kind of lead magnet is a free guide, some kind of downloadable PDF guide that people can get from your website in return for giving you their name and email address. So when we follow this kind of lead magnet strategy, we're not looking to get people to see your advert and click on it and make an inquiry straight away, because as I said, that's too big a jump. What we're looking to do instead is build a pipeline of people who will be ready to make an inquiry and ready to talk to you in a month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now. So we offer them a free guide in return for them giving their name and email address. And once they've given that, they get to download your free guide. And the free guide, if it's done correctly, will address the most significant pain point that your ideal client has. So again, this is another example, another reason why it's important to do that work first of all on identifying your ideal client type and working out what their pain points are, because then through your lead magnet and through all your other marketing, you can make sure that you're addressing and solving those pain points that they have. So for example, if you decided your ideal client was someone who had bad credit and wanted to get a mortgage, well, think about what their situation is at the moment. They're not ready to speak to you yet, but they have a pain point. Their pain point might be they've been to their own bank to try and get a mortgage, and they've been told, very sorry, you can't get a mortgage because it turns out you missed a mobile phone payment 6 months ago, therefore you have a bad credit score, therefore we won't give you a mortgage. So if that potential client is later on that day browsing through Facebook and may see an advert of yours for a free guide that's called something like 5 ways to boost your credit score in the next 90 days, they're immediately going to see that, it's going to catch their eye and resonate with them, because that's going to address the pain point that they have. So they're not ready to speak to you yet, but they may well be ready to download your free guide in return for giving their name and email address. And once you've got that, you can then put them onto an email list, and you can do email marketing, where you send automated follow-up emails to them on a regular basis over the next days, weeks, months. All of those emails are not trying to sell to them, they're giving them more useful information and adding extra value on top of what you've already given them in the lead magnet in the free guide, so as when they are ready to speak to an advisor, they don't go to Google and start searching. They think, right, today's the day I'm going to reply to one of those emails, or pick up the phone and respond to the advisor who's been sending them these useful emails over the preceding days and weeks. So it's a way of nurturing prospects until they are ready to speak to you, and making sure they don't forget about you in the meantime, and that they come to know, like and trust you, so as once they're ready to buy, you are their go-to person to speak to. And as I say, if you use that kind of strategy coupled with Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads, then that's where that lower cost traffic you get from Facebook or LinkedIn can become just as good as the traffic that you get from more expensive platforms like Google Ads. So really it's a choice of, you can pay more with Google Ads to get people who are ready to speak to you now, or you can pay a lower amount per visitor with things like Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads, but knowing that you will have to wait longer and put in more work through the lead magnets and the emails to warm them up to the point where they are ready to speak to you. And just to give you an idea of how well that can work as a strategy, I'd like to just play you a quick video clip from a guy called David Doyle, who's someone who's been in the Predictable Pipeline program, my group coaching program. And one of the first things I did with David when he joined was helped him set up some Facebook ads that were promoting a lead magnet. I actually have some ready-made lead magnets that people get access to included in their membership, but you can also buy them separately, and the email sequences that go with them. You can buy those separately from my website, so I'll put a link in the description to that in case that's of interest. But anyway, David used one of these ready-made lead magnets coupled with some Facebook ads to generate leads, and in the space of a month got over 50 leads. So have a quick listen to David talking about that.
I recently started self-employment in September, and I didn't know nothing about marketing at all. Social media, Google ads, and all that stuff. So basically, since I've been on a course, I found it very, very useful. David's helped me set up my Facebook ad campaigns. And from that as well, I've generated over 50 leads from his lead magnets. He's basically has ready-made lead magnets with automated emails, and that's been very successful for me.
So there you go, proof that Facebook ads can work as a paid traffic strategy for mortgage brokers, so long as you do what I said there and couple it with the lead magnet strategy as well. So I hope that's given you some good ideas for what you can do in stage 2 of my 3-step framework, the identify, attract and convert, in terms of what you can do to attract people to your website. If you want to find out more about any of this stuff, then the Predictable Pipeline program, my group coaching program that I've mentioned, is a really good place to learn more about all these things and get help from me and from other members to actually build this kind of framework for your own financial services business. So you can find out more about it at predictablepipelineprogram.com, but basically you get access to a whole load of online courses and live training, and if you join now you get recordings of all the past live training and group coaching events we've done. And between those, they give you all the information you need to learn about all the things I've talked about here today. The organic traffic strategies like SEO and social media and content marketing, the paid strategies around Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, etc. Plus a whole load of other stuff. And we have Q&A calls, so you don't just work through courses on your own. If you get stuck on things or you need help with anything, you can come along to the Q&A calls and get feedback on what you're working on, get all your questions answered. There's unlimited support via a members-only forum. We've, as I said, got those ready-made tools like the ready-made lead magnets, but all sorts of other things that are already done for you, so as you can hit the ground running and get results faster and not ever be staring at a blank sheet of paper or a blank screen thinking, what do I write next? And we've got an online community where you can get advice, share ideas, get help, etc. from other mortgage brokers and financial advisors, because I know sometimes it can be a bit lonely being a mortgage broker on IFA, particularly if you're self-employed and you're a one-man or one-woman band. So that community gives you a lot of support and interaction with other brokers, and makes life a bit less lonely. So you can find out more about that, as I say, at predictablepipelineprogram.com, and I'll put a link to that in the description. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please do hit the thumbs up button to give it a like. That would really help me out and support the channel. And of course, this is video number 2 in a series of 3. So if you want to be the first to know when the third one comes out, where I'll be talking about how to convert those people who come to your website into leads, then do click the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, and then you'll be the first to know when that next video and all my other videos are released. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any questions, comments, feedback, please leave them down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And I'll see you again soon for part 3 of this.